Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and 2024 is gently coming to a close, and I thought I'd reflect on the games that I've played in 2024. So what I've done is composed a playlist of just about every game that I have played this year, and there are 319 episodes in this playlist of all of my first episodes of either a guide or a game that I've played in 2024. And what I want to do is present to you my top 10 2024 games. Now, this is not necessarily games that came out in 2024, but just the top 10 games that I played in 2024. And because my list is so big of just 320-ish games altogether, I decided to give you 10 of my best games and then 25 like honorable mentions, because I have such a hard time narrowing it down, and I thought around 10% of the cream of the crop would be a nice kind of way to provide you with a list of games that I had fun with if you're looking for something new to try out that maybe you haven't heard of. Because throughout this list I'm going to be talking about games that I've played that some of them are sure you've heard of them, AAA stuff, and others are probably games that you may have never heard of before. And so I'm hoping to just give you something new and provide a talking point. I'm really interested in what your best games of the year are personally. What games come to mind for your maybe top 10 list? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you see anything on the list that I should elevate or demote for any reason? I'm very curious, because I didn't play every game there was, and I'm missing, I'm sure, some really big popular games, or even just some, big, smaller games that were well received that I just didn't have on my radar. So any recommendations are welcome. And remember, these are only games that I played for the first time on the channel, or in some cases revisited because there was a massive update or something changed. Maybe the game went to full release and I came back to it. So you might find a game here that I have played previously in another year on the channel. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into our top 10. So I'm going to list these in no particular order, just 10 games that stand out to me that I really enjoyed this year. And let's begin with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is a fantastic game because it both captures what it feels like to actually be Indiana Jones and gives you a great single-player adventure exploration game with fantastic visuals, interesting sights to discover, and just top-shelf production, in my opinion. I had a great time with this game. I didn't beat it, but I started playing it at the end of the year, and I was just so pleased with it from top to bottom, how it gave you that feeling of being Indiana Jones. I was actually kind of expecting that it might not be very good, just because I'd been burned by a lot of AAA stuff in the past, but this definitely delivered. So coming in here on the list is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Next, I'm going to put Pacific Drive on the list. This game is just so unique. It has amazing vibe. Visuals are a great time. I didn't like the saving option, but they really made that better with some updates. And as I reflect back, I played this way at the beginning of the 2024, but this is definitely just a gem of a title and should not be overlooked. How many games allow you to upgrade a station wagon in a supernatural Pacific Northwest setting? Not many, and this game was a very pleasant surprise that delivered on all levels. So I'm going with Pacific Drive. Next, I'm going to go with Balatro. Balatro is one that I didn't expect at all, and at first I thought it was just going to be kind of a gimmick, but as soon as I started playing this game, I was hooked. And it's an interesting title because I played it for the first 3 or 4 months of the year and played it a ton. I have a ton of videos on the channel about this game, a guide about this game, and yet I haven't played it since. I don't know if it's going to always, be that way, if it's ever going to have the staying power of like a Slay the Spire with me, but I really had fun with it when I played it, so I can't leave it off my list for 2024 because it's got great music, it's a great time, and it's a very unique and interesting take on poker and deck building. So I'm going with Balatro. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Alan Wake 2 on the list because I love Remedy games, and this game just floored me. I think that, I played Alan Wake Remastered, actually. I finished it maybe at the beginning of the year, and that was phenomenal. Control was phenomenal, and this game, I jumped into it, and I couldn't believe that they were able to really improve upon Alan Wake in terms of storytelling, and yet this game hit on every level. The production is incredible, the writing is incredible, the story, the world, the gameplay, it's just a treat, and I can't say enough good things about Alan Wake 2. I told you, I'm not ordering this stuff in any kind of list because I don't want to pick one above the others or rank them. It's so hard to do that because they're all different types of games, so how can you compare some of these games that do completely different things to each other and just put them in some 1 through 10? I mean, you could try, but I'm not even going to bother with it. But if I were to just mention one of the games that was maybe my favorite of this year, it would be Alan Wake 2. It is just a treat. Now, on that note, I've started playing Metaphor, and I don't have any videos of that on the channel. I've just been playing that on my own, and I haven't gotten to play enough of it to, kind of really ultimately determine where I'd put that on my 2024 list. But boy, that's an awesome game too, and it doesn't even make the list because I haven't made a video yet. I think I probably will make a video of Metaphor, maybe for next year, and let me know if you want to see that on the channel. But again, coming back and thinking about it, Alan Wake 2 has everything I like in games in terms of just a very real living world with stellar production, writing, and attempting to dabble in, a more profound level of art and creation. And I had a blast with Alan Wake 2, and I still haven't beaten it. And let me know if you want to see some more of that on the channel as well. Next, I want to talk about Songs of Six. Now, this is where my list is going to go off the rails because I think the first 4 that I talked about, are all games that actually came out in 2024, so that makes sense. This ain't a game that came out in 2024, but it's a game I first played in 2024 and fell in love with this. It is kind of in the vein of a Dwarf Fortress real-time colony management game, but has so much of a larger map, a grander scope, bigger cities, that I couldn't believe what I was doing when I played it. It's so intuitive, it's so slick, and I never had any issues with managing all of these people. It was just a fun treat. I was so impressed with this game. I have a guide, I have a Let's Play, and it's one of those games that I was even playing off camera, just on my own, having fun, trying to figure out, the different races, all of the permutations, strategizing, making, going for different tech trees, and just really experimenting with this game. There's so much under the hood in Songs of Six. If you enjoy colony management builder games, do not overlook this game. Even though it's not from 2024, it is fantastic to play in any year. So that is why I pick Songs of Six. Next is another game that is not from 2024, but is still getting updates, still getting DLC, and seems to be ever present, which is Stellaris. Stellaris is a game I did first finally play in 2024. I was kind of, overwhelmed by this game, and then I got into this so deep and enjoyed it so much that I ended up making a guide because I had played the beginning of the game several times and really wanted to help other people get into it too, because Stellaris is a sheer delight if you like 4X games with, great writing, story, so many permutations and possibilities. I am only playing the vanilla version of this game. There are DLCs, that are all over the place, adding tremendous amounts of content. They keep updating and evolving this game. It is a bit to learn up front, but once you get into it, it is just one of those games that you will keep saying one more turn, and something new will happen, something will surprise you or make you laugh. What happened in my guide with an alternate planet Earth being pulled into our galaxy from another dimension was just absolutely incredible, and it worked out really well to have two Earths, floating around Sol. But this game is one that you can just vibe out and enjoy and play, however you like, and I really can't say enough good things about Stellaris. It is a strategy 4X done absolutely right. Stellaris. Next is one that you might not have heard of, and I sure hadn't until I played it, and it drew me in immediately, and that is News Tower. I love tower builders, so I thought this is going to be a great tower builder, and it is. You do build a tower, but it's actually about running a newspaper. And at first I wasn't sure if that was going to be something that was fun, but it's a management real-time game where you are working on running a paper from every level, getting the paper, printing it, having reporters go out, chase leads, find stories, dealing with politicians, mobsters, actual historical events. The game has an amazing art style and musical soundtrack. You are going to have a blast just decorating your office building, leveling up all of your staff members, trying to eke out every little millimeter of space as you squeeze things in and expand your media empire. News Tower is just a delight, and it keeps getting updates. It is one that you really shouldn't miss in 2024. It is a 2024 game. I know it's early access, but there's a lot to do here, and it keeps getting more attention. And I have just a really, really soft place in my heart for this game because it just puts a smile on my face. So I'm bringing News Tower into our top 10 list. Next, let's talk about Outward. Outward is an open world sandbox RPG. It's kind of like if you take Morrowind and you blend in this over-the-shoulder view with Souls-like combat, sort of. You get closer to Outward, but it's got survival elements, it's got exploration, choices that you can make to shape your character that are permanent, binding, feel very heavy, and just really unique touches that make the game difficult and yet so engrossing. There's a ton to do here. There's crafting, there's probably the most unique magic system that I've seen in a game of this type in a while, where position is so important, and it just gives you a real sense of accomplishment as you begin to grow as a character and make some money and some progress. I have had a blast with Outward, the definitive edition, and I can't really recommend it enough. It's just such a treat. So I'm going to say Outward Definitive Edition is certainly on my top 10 for 2024. So next I'm going to mention Frostpunk 2, but also Frostpunk 1 in the same spot on my top 10 of 2024. And I know that's, shady, but here's where we are. So Frostpunk 2 actually came out in 2024 and is awesome. But I also just played Frostpunk 1 seriously and made a guide on it in the beginning of 2024. So I could put them both on there, and they're both great for different reasons. Frostpunk 1 is the micromanager, where you have very few people and you have a small space that you are managing to try to stay alive against ever increasingly difficult odds. And Frostpunk 2 is more of a macro, where you have a much larger sprawling map, multiple settlements, way more people that you're managing against ever increasingly difficult odds. And they are cool because they're unique, and it's such a twist for the sequel. It's not just more of the same. which I personally appreciated, and you can enjoy both for different reasons. I find these games to be, rage-inducing and yet also very satisfying when I actually make it out of a situation that I thought was untenable, or at least learn enough to do so by starting all over again. So I'm going to put both Frostpunk 1 and 2 taking up the same little spot here on my list for 2024. And let me also add Elin to this list. It's a game that I'm still learning about, still playing, still very much enjoying, but it has just all of the things that give me the feel that this is a game I will come back to again and again, because it's got great music, it's got a great JRPG vibe to it, it has roguelike elements, builder elements, management, farming, exploration, RPG. I mean, so much stuff going on in Elin, and also it's so kind of mysterious and bizarre that things happen that I have no idea about every single time I play it. There's a new interaction, there's a new thing, there's something that surprises me. I love the art style. I really am excited to see how this game begins to evolve as they tweak it and hone it. And I think it is just an absolute treat. So I'm going to put Elin on my top 10 for 2024. So that's my top 10 list of games that I played for the first time on the channel on 2024. But that list contains some games that maybe didn't come out in 2024. And in that spirit, we're just going to keep talking about my best games of the year. And I have 24, I believe, here, honorable mentions that I want to list. Now, these are games that maybe I had played previously on the channel, some of them, but they got a massive update, or they went into full release. And I just want to mention these are my highlights of the year, and I'd love to know what you think of this kind of addition to the list, and where your feelings are with these games, because I want to just maybe shed some light on some more titles. Everything will be in this playlist that I'm going to link in the description below that has every game, all 319 so far that I recall that I played for the first time on the channel in this year for you. Some games are actually even there twice because they both have a game like a Let's Play series and a guide series, and I include both depending on what type of information you are looking to receive about that game. So here are my 24 honorable mentions. Path of Exile 2. Been loving this game. It's still too early for me to decide how I feel about it. I need to play it more. Salt 2. This game always puts a smile on my face. I just can't go wrong when I play Salt 2. It Lurks Below. This is one that I've been playing a ton recently. I'm loving it, and maybe if I get some more hours into it, I can really solidify it as an amazing game, but what I've played so far has been an absolute delight once I got past the kind of first hurdle of the game. Hero's Adventure Road to Passion. This Kung Fu RPG game, just absolutely, I kind of bought it on a sale, on a whim, and it is awesome. I have been loving it. So Hero's Adventure for sure. Dustland Delivery. This is a game I made a guide about this year and also received some massive updates this year. Super, super cool game. I'm actually looking forward to playing it some more. Stoneshard. Well, here's a game that I had played a bunch on the channel, took a huge break, and then a massive update just dropped not 2 weeks ago, and I've been really in deep playing Stoneshard with the Rags to Riches update, and I think that what they did here is tremendous. They made the game so much better, and I urge you to check it out. Speaking of updates, what about Project Zomboid? I'd be just out of my gourd to not mention that. Project Zomboid is incredible, and the Build 42 that just came out is moving in a very good direction for the game. I think there's some awesome change that have been made. The lighting looks great. The graphics look really good. I like that they're working on guns. The zombie density seems a little bit cooler too. So I've been enjoying playing the update. dotAGE is a game that is also one where, my goodness, so much fun. Turn-based, builder, colony management. It is just an absolute treat. I have always a good time playing dotAGE, and would recommend looking into it if you hadn't heard of it. DorfRomantic is another one that I encountered this year that is the most chill kind of puzzle building game that you could possibly play. You just sort of melt when you play DorfRomantic. Turmoil is a really cool frenetic digging for oil game that just you can't help but want to get all that oil and make more money, and I had never heard of it before, and it's pretty low tech, but it's a lot of fun. Ninth Dawn Remake is incredible. Ninth Dawn the Third is also awesome, but the remake just feels really, really good. It's great to play, and I think you should take a look at that as well. Cobalt Core is a sweet sci-fi deck builder, very well done, very, very polished. Parkitect is your dream kind of theme park revitalized builder, and it is a very cute and deep amusement park and ride builder. I have had a great time with it. Strange Horticulture is a game that there's nothing like it. You're not going to find another game that's just about plants and giving people plants for remedies, but the story, the pacing, the uniqueness make it a really cool title. Abiotic Factor, it actually also got an update recently, and I haven't checked it out yet, and I'm looking forward to it. Abiotic Factor is kind of like Half-Life survival game, sort of, and is hysterical and also brutal at the same time. Chernobylite is, I did put Stalker 2 on my honorable mentions. I probably should have, but I just haven't played it enough. Stalker is amazing. Stalker 2, from what I've played, has been good, but I only played a little bit. But Chernobylite is like just a more kind of closed-in version of that gives you a lot of the cool, excavation, extraction, upgrade feel of the Stalker universe, just with a little bit more friendliness involved in it, and I had a really good time playing that. Roadwarden is another totally unique narrative game that you're not going to find anything else like Roadwarden, but if you want to play a kind of involved text-based adventure, Roadwarden is certainly one that I recommend. Against the Storm I list here because I played it again and I made a guide series on it because it is such a cool take on the roguelike, where you're building, you're managing, you're exploring, and you have the roguelite elements of meta progression in the background, randomness in a totally fleshed out and developed world with these different species that work together. I really think Against the Storm is just so well done. Quasimoprh is kind of like Stoneshard in space, sort of. It's like a sci-fi brutal roguelike, and I had a lot of fun with it. Palworld is one where it began the year with a bang. I really had a good time playing it, and then I haven't played it since. I probably should. I know there's been a ton added to it, but I did have a good time with Palworld. Planescape Torment I played for the first time on the channel. I had played it originally when it was first released, but bounced off of it for some reason, and then came back to it, and it is a definitive kind of CRPG experience that I would feel bad if I didn't put it on my list because it's such a great game. It's just so much to read, so much to discuss, but really, really cool. Enshrouded is another one. Began the year with a bang, also picked it back up with some updates and had a very good time with it. One that I'm playing now that I just got is Black Grimoire Cursebreaker, and it's just an honorable mention right now because I haven't played enough of it to escalate it, but boy, if you want to play RuneScape as a single-player RPG, here you are. Black Grimoire Cursebreaker is it. And then Neo Scavenger, which is a game that I played years and years ago, and then booted back up recently on the channel, and it's just such a trip of a post-apocalyptic roguelike where it's not Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, it's not Project Zomboid, it's not in that space, but it is... You never have felt better to pick up a bag than in that game, in just getting some storage space, because it's so hard to carry what you need, but it's such a cool experience. So I mention that as just kind of, a divergent game that is really fun, because I want to give you a full list of things to consider. So these are all my top 10 games and my honorable mentions. The full list is linked below, and I'd love to know what you think of the gaming year of 2024. What are your best games? What games would you like to see me play? What games would you recommend for me that I haven't yet tried? Let me know down in the comments below. I do read them all, and everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel through 2024. It's been a great year. I'm looking forward to 2025. I hope you had a wonderful year, and I wish you a happy new year. Take care, everybody.